J&J is the second front-runner, I think in about 3 to 4 months, halting a trial. Should we be worried, or is it just part and parcel of how these trials work?
No, I think it's part and parcel. I mean, when you are including very large numbers of people in studies like this, some of them will get ill from reasons that may be associated with vaccine, but most likely is just one of those things that's caused by something else. And so what you have to do is every time you get one of these severe illnesses to really work out whether or not it was because of the vaccine or was something else, and whether that has implications more widely. So this is something that happens many times in a lot of vaccine studies. So we shouldn't be too concerned at this stage.
But Professor, overall, are we expecting a vaccine too much? Do we want it so badly that we risk going too quickly? Or is that just a perception in, certain people that are not scientists?
No, I think we really do need a vaccine. I'm quite optimistic that we will have a vaccine, probably not this year, probably early to mid next year, that is effective and safe. But you're quite right, we cannot rush it because we cannot afford to produce and circulate a vaccine that is not as safe as is humanly possible. And because otherwise, you would undermine the entire vaccine program. So, yes, we are likely to have a vaccine. I certainly believe we will, but we cannot release it until it's had been properly tested to the standards that we've worked to for years.
Professor, how would you currently describe the efforts of various countries to try and contain the virus? The rules are vastly different country to country, especially if you look at the US and, for example, the UK, but even France.
Yeah, I think it's been one of the big disappointments about this epidemic, in that the science doesn't vary from one country to another country. The virus itself behaves in much the same way around the world. There are differences because of climate and different population densities and things like that. And yet, different countries are really doing some very different things. And even within the UK, we've seen Scotland and Wales doing things very differently to England, and really, we shouldn't, in this day and age, we should not have actually ended up like that. We should have had a properly agreed policy and strategies that were present and applicable more widely, because I think when you have such variation, it leads to confusion, it leads to people not really believing what they're told. So I'm certainly quite disappointed that we're not, and this isn't just directed against the UK by any means, that we weren't able to have a properly coordinated European response to the virus.
But Professor, who should give us the framework of what to do? Has the WHO been failing us?
No, I think the WHO has generally done a pretty good job in over the course. It's been very clear in its statements, and when the science has needed the statements to be, has changed. The WHO's statements have changed. I think. We've been talking about following the science, but early on in the epidemic, there was a lot about the science that we didn't know that we do know now, and the strategy and the process that the WHO has gone through to produce its guidance and its technical guidance has been, I think, has been exemplary. It produced documents that have had well thought out, good quality science with critical reviews of the evidence.